Welcome for those of you that have joined. You okay? All right. I think we will start the session now. Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the A to Z of University Admission and Recommendation Letter session of All In's 5th anniversary event. Thank you for coming in, and thank you for sparing your time to join and hear our session today. So I know that maybe, for some of you, especially teachers and school counselors, maybe you've just finished teaching your students, and I really appreciate the fact that you're here and you're eager to join the session, which means that you really care about your students, right? Especially about their journey and process of application to university. Yeah. So I would like to say welcome as well to parents and also students. Hopefully this session will give you lots of information and insights that could be beneficial in preparing to apply to universities. So before we start, please let me introduce myself. My name is Gaby. I'm a psychology graduate from University of Pelita Harapan, and I'm one of the mentors here in All in EduSpace. So in this session, I'm not alone. In here, we have Sharon that together with me, we would also share some university information and letter of recommendation. Yeah. So maybe Sharon, you can briefly introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone, teachers, parents. I think this is such a great day for all of us to be able to gather here together. And I think I also say hi to some students as well, if there's any. Yeah, my name is Sharon. I'm also one of the mentors here in All In. Yeah, and today I would probably talk more about recommendation letter. We will hear about one of our freshly accepted mentees as well. So yeah, stay tuned.
Okay, so I know that maybe for some of you, this is your first time attending All In's event. So maybe just a little bit introduction of All In. Yeah, so All In EduSpace is an independent university consultant that helps students in navigating and preparing higher education. Yeah, so we guide students in grades 7 until 12 to get accepted into their best suited universities that could eventually help them to achieve their career goals. Yeah, so in order to achieve this, of course, with the help of parents and also you teachers, we offer our three main programs. The first one is admission mentoring, which is a mentoring process that helps students in exploration as well as building their personal brand and also help them in the university application. The second one, we have the career exploration, in which students could have some career exploration, such as junior explorer for middle school students, and for high school students, we have the passion explorer. Okay, we have the third program also, which is the academic test preparation and writing, such as subject tutoring, SAD, ACD, and also IB writing that could help students in terms of academic. Okay, next. This year we continue to see excellent results of university acceptance by all of our mentees. They've received offers from top universities around the globe, from Penn to UC Berkeley, to UC Berkeley Scholar, to USC's Film School, to Johns Hopkins, King's College, UCLA, to Imperial College, and so on. So actually, this is a really sweet gift for our special day today. Yeah, and we are super grateful. So yeah, this is a yearly reminder for us as well to always uphold our mentoring principles and to always pour our heart in the mentoring relationship that we develop with our mentees. Okay, next. Now, since this is our 5th anniversary, I would like to take you to watch a sneak peek of our mentorship program and how All in EduSpace has evolved throughout the years.
Hello, we are All In. We are an independent university consultant. We started in 2016 assisting students with their application preparation to their dream university through our one-on-one mentoring program. We cover the topic of academic performance, exploration, personal brand, and writing skills. In 2017, we realized that some students need extra support in their academic prep. So our team developed SAT prep course and IB writing to boost their test scores and writing skills. In 2018, we curated several experiential learning programs for students. We did a science research program, where students get a chance to work on research project with experts. Global Immersion Program, 5 day of intensive workshop in various business subjects, company visits, and networking sessions with professionals. And also a junior doctor program for students who want to delve into the medical world through healthcare training with professionals. Some students have already explored their chosen field enough. That is why in 2019, we decided to work hand in hand with corporates to level up their exploration by placing them to internship or job volunteering. In 2020, we held even more events. Info session, application bootcamp, competition, edu fair, junior explorer, and patient explorer. Here we are in 2021. Until today, we have been supported by schools, company partners, review lots of application and essays. We place more than 50 mentees at top universities around the world.
They really helped me realize what I wanted to talk about and what I wanted to study. I remember I also had a lot of problems trying to write the Common App, and it was only after many discussions and countless drafts that we finally managed to get my story out.
My favorite thing about the All In experience is the fact that there's such a close knit community between the mentors and the mentees, as well as different speakers. There's so many different opportunities to help you build your portfolio, and the team really helps you from the beginning of high school, trying to build your portfolio, to the whole application process.
I think all the advice, the feedback, the constructive criticism from the mentors really helped me in improving myself in the application and also as a person, deciding what I wanted to do for the future. And I'm really grateful that I was able to have a mentor whom I felt comfortable with so I could freely express my worries and my thoughts about applying to university.
We promise that we will continue supporting you in realizing your dream, equipping you with the right skill and mindset. We are all in. Ready to take on your future? Remember, it's all in the prep.
Okay, so that's the sneak peek of our mentorship program. If you do have any question though about the program, feel free to directly ask in the chat box, or you can contact us through our contact number and email that will be shown to you at the end of the session. Oh yeah, if you have any questions too related to the materials that are discussed along the session, feel free also to directly ask in the chat box. So no need to wait until the Q&A session. All right, next, let's move on to our session today. As we know, there will be two main topics that will be discussed today. Yeah, the first one is the A to Z of university admission part. Yeah, in this part, we will cover the basic application requirements, COVID-19 updates on Australia, Asia, UK, US, as well as the application strategies post-COVID-19. So for your information, yeah, in this session, we will not only cover the information or the updates only, which yeah, I believe many of you, may have gotten university related information on the university's website or other resources, but we will discuss beyond that, yeah, which is the strategies on how to handle the changes that happens because of the pandemic. For the recommendation letter part, there will be a mentee testimony session in which one of our mentee, Alicia, she will share her experience regarding the letter of recommendation process. After that, we will cover also the purpose of recommendation letter, the must-have content, the difference between subject teacher versus school counselor recommendation letter, some do's and don'ts, case studies, and also some key takes away of the session. Okay, next. Maybe before we start, I would like to conduct a mini polling, a mini survey first about like which country do you or maybe your child or maybe your students want to study at. So Sharon, maybe you could help me to show the polling. I will give around 30 seconds for you to fill it in. So the question is, which country do you, or if you are a parent, your child, or if you're a teacher, you're a school counselor, like your students mostly, where do they want to study at? Okay, is it US, UK, Australia, Asia, or others? Feel free to fill it in. Okay, I'll give around 10 seconds. All right. Okay, so from the polling, we could see that, I think US is the most, country that either you or your child or your student want to study it. Okay, and after that, UK, Asia, US, Asia, UK, Australia, and others. Okay, thank you for those of you that have filled in the polling. Hopefully, you could get some beneficial information, some insights, as well as some strategies for you to know in terms of university admission and preparation, in these 4 countries. Okay, next. So before me and Sharon will discuss each of the countries' updates, maybe I will briefly explain about the general application requirement that doesn't change. So these application requirements are the same as in the previous year. But for those of you that maybe aren't familiar or maybe just started preparing for your university application, please take notes on this, as these are the application requirements that you should know and prepare from now, if you're planning to go to these countries. So from the left side, which is Australia, its application requirements, it's actually quite simple, as it only look at your grades or your GPA. So if you got good grades and pass the university standard score, you're good to go. Okay. In Asia and UK, it's also more towards academic. But for US, it's the most complicated because they not only see your scores, but your non-academic side as well, such as your personality, your extracurricular, your personal traits and qualities. This is what I meant by complicated, because you can't really measure your non-academic side, not like scores or GPAs that could be quantified and measured. So it's really important to prepare your essay, CV, letter of recommendation from now and seriously. If you or maybe your child or your students, if they want to go to US, as these are the only way for admission officer to assess you as a person. We know that it's not gonna be an easy journey for the students to prepare for their university, and that's why we will also discuss the strategies of the important requirements such as the essay and also the letter of recommendation in this session. Okay, so next we will move on to the most recent updates on the university in Australia, Asia, UK, and also US. Okay, so we will start from Australia, as it's the most simple, but of course not easy as well in terms of university admission. So in Australia universities, in terms of learning mode, currently there are dual delivery learning modes, which means, it's a combination of online and campus-based program. But most of the programs are currently still online. Okay. In terms of health protocol prior arrival, the process are usually students should complete the health declaration form in their university account, and also update their contact details, just in case there are some maybe emergency situations. So the campus know who to contact. Okay. Apart from that, there are reduced capacity and restrictions for events, and also in terms of student facilities like libraries, study spaces, gyms, and also dining halls. For the upcoming semester 2, Australian universities, they will continue their dual delivery mode, but with increased campus-based in-person learning. Additionally, in some universities in Australia, there are options for intake deferment. For example, like in UQ or University of Queensland, students could defer up to maximum 2 semesters from their original commencement semester. But then if, for example, the student, they choose not to defer and cannot travel to Australia due to travel restriction, some universities could provide a full refund of the deposit if you withdraw before a certain date. But again, please check with the university's website, because every university's policy is different. Okay, next. So aside from the learning modes, currently there are some updates regarding the English proficiency test validity. Please note that the update is temporary. So firstly, the validity of IELTS, TOEFL, and also Pearson test, they has been extended from previously 2 years until 3 years. Secondly, the TOEFL IBT Special Home Edition version are temporarily being accepted with conditions. So what I meant by being accepted with conditions is, if the standard testing procedures are not currently available in that student's country. Okay. And thirdly, tests not listed above, like Duolingo, Pearson test, generally they will not be accepted in Australian university. Okay. About the university admission intake, currently there are no changes. So as usual, students could apply for the February or March intake or the July or August intake. About the specific date of the intake and also, the specific deadline, remember that every university has different dates. So I would recommend you to always check on their websites. Okay, that's the update about Australian universities. Next one, we will touch on the Asia and UK university updates that will be delivered by Sharon.
Yeah, thank you, Gaby. So I'll share a bit of information on Asian universities. So including Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan, and also generally for like China and Japan as well. So for COVID-19 updates in Hong Kong, right, they have announced that since March and April onwards, they will be doing mixed mode, or like both on campus and also online learning, with students with unactivated student visa and also permitted to Hong Kong and as a Hong Kong resident, and subjected to 14-day quarantine requirement. So if you are enrolling to a Hong Kong university, and then you're still worried about the travel restrictions, even if you don't have an activated visa holder, you'll still be able to enter Hong Kong, of course, with the regulations and the quarantine requirement. And also, just like unlike the Australian universities, actually, so they still accept alternatives to IELTS and TOEFL in case if you cannot access the original IELTS and TOEFL test, such as TOEFL IBT Home, IELTS Indicator, and Duolingo English, as shown in the table, right? But then again, we will always advise every one of you to check each individual websites to know the exact requirement of each university, right? And meanwhile, for other Asian countries, for example, Taiwan, and also Singapore. I think parents over here and teachers and maybe students, you're also aware that the COVID plans of these countries are slightly ahead. Yeah, I mean, like they're already looking towards normal operations. So that includes their universities as well. So they will continue on dual delivery learning modes, but they are more flexible in their in-person teaching, right? Meaning that they will prioritize students that require campus facilities such as laboratoriums and then libraries or other specific tools that they cannot access at home, right? Or some of them, they will put a cap like around 50 to 70% of capacity for the offline classes. While for online learning classes, they will be designated for big classes that will contain many students. So they will be still held for classes with more than 50 students, right? And regarding their intakes or like the terms, for spring 2021 and 2022, the start dates might be a little bit postponed, but for the fall semester ones, there is actually no significant difference. Yeah, so this is to say that for students who are looking towards Asian universities or for parents and teachers who are assisting students that are applying to Asian universities, I think this is not a time for you to slack off. Again, you still need to see the requirements as the normal ones. So yeah, keep maintaining your grades, keep on doing your extracurriculars, and yeah, just follow the regular requirements. Okay, so this is generally the university admission intake for these major countries such as Hong Kong, Singapore, and Taiwan. There will be no significant change, as I mentioned, in their months or like both for intake and for the deadline. Yeah, and then let's move on to the UK updates. Yeah, so UK universities are more straightforward in terms of the time when they will start campus reopening and also in-person teaching. Yeah, so the campus and all the facilities will be opened around March 8th, and in-person teaching would be continued on May 17 onwards. Yeah, again, they will prioritize on students that need practical work, so those enrolling in science-related classes or health-related classes. And for the online classes, for students who have not completing their visa process, they will be able to access the online classes in their home country. Yeah, and something to note as well for high school students, especially who are studying in A-level Cambridge-based curriculums, the GCSE and A-level exams are cancelled in the UK and most likely internationally. I think we've heard from some of our mentees that these exams are being cancelled this year. Yeah, so you'll need to maintain the other assessment parts of your grades. Yeah. And also as a compensation, the UK government will also open the registration for graduate route, which is the extension of stay for 2 years after graduation, meaning that you can use that extended stay, for either travel or more for serious purposes for internships or for work. And these are eligible for students who are coming to the UK before June 21st. Yeah, so if you want to plan your travels, please take note of this. Yeah, so I think for the United States updates, Gabby will share more about this.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. Yeah, so we've covered up the university updates on Australia and Asia countries, and we've touched also, the UK university updates as well. And right now we will discuss about the updates on US universities. So I think the US part will be much comprehensive compared to the previous countries as it has the most complicated university requirements. Okay, next. So in the spring and summer this year, the learning mode is hybrid mode, although mostly right now the courses are still delivered online. Yeah. Regarding residential housing, currently universities are providing single spaces housing in which every student at least has their own bed and also their own study desk. Okay, the third one regarding the health protocol prior arrival, usually the process is students must have some COVID testing After arrival, yeah, they should after the test they should directly go to their dorm or their other housing, and for at least 2 weeks they should quarantine themselves. So that's the current condition in the US universities. So how about the upcoming fall semester? Okay. Yeah, right now universities in the US are planning to have a full return to campus with, of course, some standard safety measures and health protocol. Yeah, for students, for students who are, maybe unable to return for in-person instruction, they will be considered on a case-by-case basis. Meaning, the university actually, they expect students generally to be on campus whenever possible. Yeah, in terms of school facilities, it will also totally reopen as well as the student residence occupancy. So these are all so far the updates, but the universities in the US will continue to update their more detailed and also some fixed plan on late May onwards. Yeah, so keep checking the university's websites, or you can contact us for more information and upcoming events regarding the updates. Okay. Next, as for the application deadline, there's no change with the previous deadline. So as usual in the US, there's first the early action, which you can apply early and it's non-binding, meaning you don't have to directly enroll if you get admitted. So the deadline will be as usual on the November, and the decision will come out on December. Secondly, you could apply as early decision, meaning you apply early, but the difference is it's binding. Yeah, the deadline will also be the same as the early action. The third one is through the regular admission. It's non-binding, and as the application deadline also, would be longer than the early action and early decision admission. Okay, so maybe I'll share a little bit about what we mentors in All In usually recommend students in terms of, choosing whether to apply for early action, early decision, or regular admission. Yeah, so if the student, they're really determined to get into a university and his or her profile is good and strong enough, we recommend the student to apply early decision. Okay, but if the case the student really want to get into a certain university but the profile is not strong enough, we usually would recommend the student to apply for regular decision, as he or she will have more time to strengthen his or her profile and also maturing the university application. Additionally, we usually also recommend students to apply to some safety schools as early action, as it's non-binding and the student could focus more on her application on the rich schools. Yeah, so hopefully this will provide you, with some additional insights on how to choose between the early action, early decision, and the regular admission. Okay, next. So the next one, it's still on the US admission context. I'll share some application strategies on how to handle changes post COVID-19. So far, we've discussed, right, about the university information and also the updates. But once again, we want you to not only know about, the information, the updates, but also know the how to handle those changes. Okay, next. The first one is about the change of one of the common apps essay prompt. Yeah, so it's very important to know the changes in essay prompts because, as I've mentioned earlier, in the US, essay are considered as very important as it gives the admission officer a picture of who you or your child or your student are as a person. Yeah, so these are the essay prompt updates. Maybe a little tips for you. Please, before you write, I think it's very important to, firstly, like you sit down, take a moment first and reflect about things that had happened. Yeah, you brainstorm first, maybe make some bullet points in a scrap paper, and then slowly start your essay. So that you could make a more, legit and heartwarming essay instead of, just directly answer the prompt. Yeah, because the goal is to make the admission officer to remember you right through your essay. Okay, for those of you that are interested as well in scholarships, I would also share some tips. So if you as a student, maybe you've already applied and received your admission letter, it's really important to read the decision letter carefully. Yeah, because there are universities that directly stated the scholarship and the amount in the letter, but yeah, there are some other universities that doesn't state it in the acceptance letter. Yeah, for if for example the university also offers you scholarship, but you think like, yeah, it's not enough for you, or maybe you were hoping for more scholarship than you receive, you can appeal. Yeah, because for your information, this year, many universities, particularly the competitive and the safety ones, they have some worries that students would not enroll in their universities because of the pandemic. Yeah, that's why yeah, this year many universities are now doing everything in their power to get students to enroll, which one of the ways is through giving scholarships. Okay, so if you do think you need more scholarship, you can appeal. Yeah, because it's actually the right time to do so. Yeah, the process is usually you write a formal letter to the admission officer that includes some updates on any new achievement, yeah, especially academically. Yeah, and also you can explain like that the only way you can attend is if you receive more scholarship, yeah, and if you maybe receive any better offers from other universities, you could state that as well, because yeah, sometimes it will work, especially if the other university is a direct competitor of the university. Yeah, so after you write the letter, please send it as soon as possible. Okay, but what to do if, for example, you've sent the appeal letter, but the university get back to you with no additional scholarship? Yeah, so you can reappeal. Okay, this time closer to the May 1 enrollment deadline. Yeah, because the closer you get to May 1st, yeah, the more pressure universities will feel about meeting their enrollment goals. Yeah, so don't worry, just appeal, because it's a win-win solution, right? Like you can get your scholarship, but on the other hand, the universities could fulfill their enrollment target. Okay, next, okay, so we have covered the essay update and also the scholarship strategies. And aside from that, there's one thing that are as well important for you to know, as it's one of the strategy to maximize and level up your chance of getting admitted to the US universities. Yeah, so it's about demonstrated interest. Yeah, universities, especially the top ones and the competitive one, they want to see whether you're really serious and want to be a part in the university. Yeah, I know it's a little bit challenging to demonstrate your interest to your targeted university, especially during this pandemic, right? Like you can obviously visit the campus directly to show that you're interested in them. Yeah, so yeah, here's some ways and tips that you could do to show that yeah, you're really interested in them, and yeah, hence could make your chance to be admitted higher. The first one is through essay. Like again, essay, right? Like I couldn't stress enough the importance of essay if we're talking about the US admission process. Like once again, please do write it very seriously, especially in the why essay on the university application. Yeah, for example, like questions, yeah, like what are the factors that led you to apply, or maybe questions like why do you believe this school is the perfect fit for you? Yeah, so I would recommend before you write this essay, maybe you could do some research first, yeah, about the university's profile, so that you know what to write that align with the university's profile. Okay, the second way to demonstrate your interest is through engagement. Okay, the first thing that you can do is sign up to the college admission mailing list, because it's one of the way the university could see whether you've signed up and joined their mailing list. Okay, second one is open the newsletter emails. Yeah, so university actually they could know whether you've opened up their email or not yet. Yeah, so don't just sign up to their mailing list, but open their emails as well. Okay, the third one, attend the university online information session or virtual college fairs. Yeah, so the university would have, if you join their session, they of course will have the record of you. Yeah, so actually, yeah, this is a really good way to demonstrate that you're interested to study in that university. Okay. Um, and then join also their virtual campus tour, and maybe if they have the Q&A session with current students, you may join that as well, because in that event you usually could meet the professors or other faculty member that might notice you the next time you got in contact with them. Yeah, because like you've given a good impression, right? Like you've joined their events before. Yeah, and last but not least, follow the university's sites and also their social media. Yeah, although maybe they won't check like one by one who's following them. Actually, yeah, the benefit is actually more towards you, because when you follow their social media, maybe you've got some information, right, about their events. You've got to attend their events as well, and it will actually help you in terms of essay and interview. Yeah, when in essay, maybe you could write the essay more easier because you know what they're looking for. Yeah, or if there are interviews, it will be much easier also for you to answer because you're already familiar with the university's profile. Okay, so through this engagement, although this maybe seems like a small action, but actually this actually very helping, to capture the university's attention, especially when you're applying for scholarship. Okay, so I hope that's quite clear about the tips and tricks and also the strategies. I think that's all for the university admission session. And hopefully this could provide you with a little bit of direction and also guidance toward preparing for your university application. Okay, so next one, we will have the letter of recommendation session that will be discussed by Sharon.
Yeah, thank you so much, KB. And I also hope for every one of us here, hopefully those informations are useful for you. Again, if you have any questions regarding the information that we delivered before, please just type your questions in the chat box and we will get back to that later. And actually, before we move on to the recommendation letter tips or like the explanation about it, I would, as I mentioned earlier, I would like to invite one of our freshly accepted mentees. So I think if Alicia, if you are here, can you unmute yourself and say hi?
Hello.
Yeah, hi. I saw you already. How are you? How are you?
I'm fine. I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, doing fine as well. Okay, yeah. So I think this is like just a perfect transition because you're just receiving your acceptance letters like maybe gradually during this month, right? Yeah, and you're applying to several universities in the US and also Canada. All right. So yeah, I think I would like to also put some quick questions, like regarding the application, and also after this, since we are going to talk about recommendation letters, how's your process in that? So yeah, maybe before we continue, like, can you also mention so that everyone here can know like which schools that you got accepted in so far?
Okay, so the major I applied to was very media and film focused, and I got into USC's School of Cinematic Arts. I got into DePaul University, Columbia College Chicago Ryerson University, and I'm waitlisted by New York University. And my own personal application process was pretty late because I started a lot later than a lot of the other students, so I had to rush a lot of what I was doing. So I had to rush my like the CV parts, the activities section of the Common App. But other than that, I think my application process was unique in the sense that I had to do a lot of things that are focused towards arts, because I had to make a short film, I had to make my own script, stuff like that. Yeah.
I see. And especially everything is done during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can share like just a bit of, like what things are challenging, or like maybe during the pandemic, how do you feel like doing this application process?
Well, to answer that question, the thing is I don't know. Like I've only had experience doing the application in the pandemic, but I
Yes.
guess I don't know what it would be like to do it outside the pandemic. But I guess it's more challenging in the sense that it's harder to reach out to people because you have to like consider when like you're talking to teachers, it's kind of harder to reach them because you're not meeting them every day at school. And yeah, I think that was kind of the main problem. And it's harder to like let out your stress because you're pent up alone at home. And it's harder to talk to friends as well when you could have had like this shared experience doing your application together. But then again, it will work out.
Yeah, such a good motivation for everyone over here. Right. Yeah, so okay, so I think one of the one of the requirements in the application is also the recommendation letter, right? And like just as you said, it's like pretty difficult, especially during the pandemic, to really like reach out physically, in person to the teachers and ask for the recommendation letters basically. So maybe if you could share, so at that time, like how do you decide like which teacher you ask your recommendation letter to, and which teachers actually do you ask the recommendation letter to?
I asked recommendation letter. I actually asked recommendation letters from 4 teachers, so I had a selection of which ones I wanted to submit. So I asked from my psychology teacher, who also happens to be my school's counselor, and I also asked my English teacher, my business teacher, and my math teacher. But I ended up submitting my English teachers and my psychology teachers because I feel like they know me the best and they know me as a well-rounded person, not just as like a student and a student with who a student and her academic performances. They know me like in and out. They know what I'm like as a person and how I contribute to the school, what I'm like outside, like my personal life. They know me a lot better than the other teachers, and that's how I chose the teachers I asked, because universities, they do want to know what you're like just outside of academic performances as well. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that your answer really like encapsulates, like the what is actually in the recommendation letter. And so of course, like this with all the pandemic things going on, so when did you actually decide to approach these teachers, and how do you actually like ask them to help you with this recommendation letter?
The thing is, with my school, they understood that most of us, we were going to like go through university admissions process, and we were going to do our applications from like August, September, November. So they sent out a form asking us what we needed, like what kind of documents we needed. Do we need legalized report cards? And they also gave us a section if we wanted letters of recommendation from certain teachers, and we could request from there. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And also like do you also like ask any other teachers? I mean, like as I think you're also quite active in your extracurriculars, right? So does any maybe like extracurricular coach or anything else like that that you also ask for recommendation letter?
It's a funny story because I did ask my swimming teacher, because they've known me for almost the entirety of my high school, my middle school and my high school. I asked them to, maybe could you help me write a recommendation letter, but they responded yes, but they never gave me the recommendation letter. And it's like, it's okay, it's fine. I already have recommendation letters from other teachers anyway. It's okay.
Okay. Yeah. And also like the last thing, I think with during the pandemic season, like what's really changing is the test optional policy as well, right? And so I think there are many different changes in how university really assess students. So do you think how your recommendation letters really affect your application?
I think it really does. I think it really does affect your university application, because you do show yourself through your essays. You're showing them a piece of yourself. But the recommendation letter shows you, like, from an outsider's perspective. They show you how well-rounded you really are, your traits, your behavior, how you contribute to your community inside and outside of school. So they really, like, they make your application, like, they top it off, and it really complements your application, especially if the teachers know you really well and they write you really positively. Yeah.
Right, right. Okay, I think this is such a good opening for everyone here before we really dive into the recommendation letter. And also, thank you so much, Alicia, for sharing your application experience. Yeah, hope for the best. Yeah, for your upcoming journey. Right, right. Okay, so yeah, I think that's for from our mentee. So again, if you still have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat box. I think I will continue with the presentation. Yeah, I think this is what the teachers want to know as well. I'll be very quick since I know you guys have more questions to come. Yeah, so this is just to show that regardless of where you're applying, just now we heard from Alicia there. She's talking about US or Canada bound applications. But then if you see for universities in Asia, in the UK as well, they also need letter of recommendations. And usually it's not only one, but two or more recommendation letters. Yeah, so this is even more important because of the test optional policy that some universities are having. Yeah, so they have less data points to evaluate your application, and therefore the letter of recommendation really functions as something that vouch your profile and also recommend your profile to the university. Right. So just as an outline, we will talk about the purpose of recommendation letter. What's the difference between a subject teacher and counselor's recommendation letter, some do's and don'ts, and if we have some time, we will go to the case study. But then, yeah, most importantly, we will also recap all the key takeaways from today's session. Yeah. So again, for the purpose of the recommendation letter itself, it's definitely to show the teacher's perspective, showing what type of student and what type of person the student is. And then the second one is to help admission officers really know who the student is in the among the school environment, right? And so they will know later on what kind of student that this student might be when they arrive on their university. And the last one, it is a personal testimony from a trusted adult that vouch for the student's abilities. Yeah, so the thing is that before you write, just as Alicia mentioned just now, the reason she picked some teachers on to write her recommendation letter is because they know her personally, right? So the thing is that you need to know your students personally. So I think these are some useful questions that you can ask to your students if they don't give you any cue or any any outlines of like how should I really write my recommendation letter. Maybe you can also take a screenshot of this slide so that you have some questions in hand when you want to really understand who your student is if you don't really know them in class or among the school community. Yeah, so the thing is that you need to know what are the stories revolving the students and how did they contribute to the class community and basically their personality. Right, so the must-have content is definitely their skills and strengths, their character, their motivation to do their activities or to do some things, and also their contribution to the class community and school community. Yeah, and the second questions that usually we heard from teachers is that how actually subject teachers and counselors recommendation letter are different. Yeah, so we have this comparison, side-by-side comparison for subject teachers and school counselors recommendation letter. Again, I think if this is useful, you can feel free to take a screenshot of this slide. But basically to recap, the recommendation letter from subject teacher will focus more on the academic part and not listing out the grades of the students, but instead you will need to show them, you need to write how the student is actually, contribute to the class, in terms of their academic, yeah, especially in the class that you teach, yeah, and is there any challenge or any setback that they have during your class, and how do they actually overcome it? While for school counselors, because you have more access to the whole school community, you get in touch with different grades in the school. So you might want to highlight how the student actually behave in the school community as a whole, and also maybe from some organizations or his or her participation in school activities, right? And also what kind of environment is in the school that that the student can thrive in. Yeah, and some quick do's and don'ts. Again, if this is useful, please take a screenshot. Yeah, so most important point is that you need to make the letter sounds personal. Yeah, meaning that you give specific situations and stories. You write more about their characters, right? Not assigning generic personality traits. Yeah, and you keep the stories or the letter with active verbs, right? Avoid saying that the student is the best student you have in your life, or like the best student, or like the smartest person you've ever met in your life. It doesn't always work. I mean, the superlatives doesn't always work. But then instead, like, you can present what kind of stories or what kind of events that actually really show the characters of the student, right? And lastly, of course, proofread your letter before submitting it. Yep. So I think from the time, I think it's pretty close. So I think I'll just go directly to some of the key takeaways, right? If you do have some questions, please shout that on the chat box. But then to wrap up, I think for recommendation letters, this is a testimony from a trusted adult, right? Since you represent the schools, and you also, you represent a trustworthy person in the student's life, right? And then the function of this recommendation letter is to highlight the student's characters, traits, and motivation. So not highlighting their list of activities, but more towards their characters. Refrain from using generic adjectives, right? The ones that you cannot back up with real evidences. Yeah, and also it actually becomes more important now as we see that the universities, they keep continuing their test optional policy, and they are focusing more on their essays. I think to make a really cohesive application, recommendation letter is really a big part of a student's application, right? So I think before we go to the questions and answers, I think I would like to invite everyone over here to fill in our feedback form. You can check that out in the chat box. Yeah, I will have. Yeah, I think it's already posted in the chat box. You can just simply click on it. Yeah, for the feedback, we will really value that. That's really useful for us. And also, while you are filling the feedback form, I would also like to update with some upcoming events. Yeah, the closest one would be Online Passion Explorer Lite, focusing in computer science. So this is a perfect program for students who are interested in computer science. You have some like just basics of computer science, but then you really want to know more, and also want to explore what are the possible career tracks that is when I study computer science. And this is only throughout the weekend. So next weekend, 24th to 25th of April. Yeah, if for registration and more information, you can also contact us. And I think we have some more links on the chat box as well for registration, right? And if you are more interested, in the longer programs for this upcoming summer, I think this is already like mid of April. So if you're planning about your summer for high school students, yeah, we invite you to join our work experience program, right? So this is basically a program that which we will collaborate with company. Yeah, so we're very happy to say that we are collaborating with this Devon Cafe. I think if you know this in the South Jakarta area. Yeah, and during this program, we will work together to solve the real world problems, real world issues that they are encountering, and also, we will have some more workshops and talks that will equip you throughout the project. Yeah, and hopefully we will be able to have this event offline as well. Yeah, and also for the younger students, yeah, for middle school students, if you are interested in big techie and also with all the machine learning AI based technology, yeah, I think you will be interested in joining this summer program, the AI based interest exploration, where you will learn multiple different subjects ranging from design, business, and also engineering, and we will apply that to a machine learning or AI based project. Yeah, and also hopefully this event will be offline as well. Yep. And again, reminding very quickly to every one of you here, if you want to get e-certificate and also win more prizes, yeah, you can simply use our Instagram filter and also Twibbon. You can access all of them in our websites. And also for parents, yeah, I think this is such a we will really appreciate your help and your suggestions. Yeah, so kindly help us by filling this survey. If you have if you can scan the barcode, they will direct you to the survey directly and get a chance to win some cool prizes. Yeah, and this is for tomorrow. We will have parent mentor talk where we will review a student profile live. Yeah, and yeah, again, for more information, just go to our website. Okay, so I think this is like where we can go to some Q&As, right? Yeah, so I think I would just stop the screen while we're looking at the questions. All right, so yeah, I think I'll invite Gabby as well if you have some questions directed directly to you, because I have one here. Yeah, so someone messaged me directly and asked how many recommendation letter that the students need generally, right? Thank you for the question. Such a good question. Yeah, so again, for detailed explanation, you usually the university will also list down like how many recommendation letter that you need. But then in general, usually they will ask for 2 recommendation letters, right, from main subjects such as math or English. Yeah, or if you're applying to specific majors such as science or engineering, that means you can also ask from your science teacher. Yeah, and also some universities also separate the part where they need you to submit the recommendation letter from the school counselor. Yeah, so that's why we also separate the sections to see how their recommendation letter are different. Yeah, so but basically generally they will ask for maybe like two subject teachers and 1 from the counselor.
Yeah, generally it's like that. Yeah, but again, check again with the university's requirement, because sometimes maybe they would ask for more, right? Okay, so is there any other questions? Oh yeah, I think we've got one here. Any tips to write recommendation letter for students who don't really participate much in school events and don't really have good grades?
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Anaka. Gaby, please feel free to chime in as well for this. So yeah, for students who think that they don't really have much participation in extracurriculars, or they have some troubles in their grades, it's definitely a condition that where you still can ask for recommendation letter from teachers. I think the highlight would be the personality or the characters that the students show in the school community. So in terms of maybe if the student doesn't really have, like if the student is not like the first position in class or whatsoever, they still can, the parts that still can be highlighted is how they progress throughout their education journey, right? Because this university doesn't only look at the final grade, but they also look at how you actually achieve that grade, right? So, for example, if you start the high school years with, pretty bad grades, and then but you still keep on continuing on a better trend, and your grades keeps increasing, right? And even at school, you show, you have some more initiative or some more extra effort to really increase your scores. I think this is a great trait to highlight in the recommendation letter. So yeah, I think the point is that the university is looking for growth or process or progress throughout the grades, right? So I think that's one of the things that the teachers can also put more attention to.
Yeah, and also maybe like the character or the personality, right? For example, if the student, maybe he or she loves to help their classmates, yeah, or some good character that you can see, yeah, you can include that as well in your letter of recommendation. Okay, or maybe some non-academic skills, that they demonstrated, or some soft skills that you see are good in this student. You could include that in your letter of recommendation.
Right. Yeah. So, I think this is from Anakaya. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Okay. So yeah, I think I'll go. Yeah. We'll go to the next question. Yep. Okay.
Any special format for report card for each university application?
Yeah. So I think for the university application for the report card, we cannot say like there's a specific format, because again, they will always mention like what curriculums that they recognize, right? And also that's why, if you are from a worldwide internationally recognized curriculum, it's easier for them to understand like where you are in terms of the academic. So yeah, the thing is that generally from report cards, they will show like the conversion of like the letters to the numerical grades, or maybe like from the ratio of the scores in comparison to the full scale. So for example, like for GPA, like out of 4.0, what's your GPA? So something like that. So I think for the format itself, they don't really require a specific format. That's the formal one that is released by the school.
Okay. Yeah. So I think about the report card, we've got a question as well. Like, which report grade should we submit for US application?
Yeah. Okay. So which report grade? I'm not really sure with your question. Sorry, for Miss Lina. Yeah. Yeah. I think does that mean like starting from which grade? Starting from which grade is the report card need to be submitted, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yep. Okay. So for US application, because they regard high school from grade 9. Yeah. So that would be the start of the report card that you need to submit. So they will see your record throughout from grade 9 onwards.
Grade 9 onwards. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Is there still any questions from the audience here? You can ask in the chat box, or you can directly message us if you're a little bit shy, maybe.
Just feel free to unmute yourself. It's also okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think if maybe if you're waiting for more for more questions, I can also see, some examples for the recommendation letter. Let me see if we can use that.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, if you guys still have any questions regarding the letter of recommendation or maybe the university admission, feel free to write it in. Okay, for US application early decision, when can we start to submit? I think there are the deadline, yeah, the one we discussed earlier. So maybe Sharon, can you show the deadline?
Yeah, sure. So for US, right? So let me change and share the screen towards a US application.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Yeah. So this is for 3 different deadlines. Yeah. Yeah. So you can maybe take a photo.
Yeah.
Or take a note.
Yeah, you can screenshot or take a note at that.
Okay. All right. So for US, oh yeah, we did answer that already. When are they open for the application? Oh yeah, so they will announce that I think quite several months before. Just to give you what we did actually in all in, right? Because we're talking about like brainstorming essays, managing everything, make sure that it package their personal brand. We start even like for the essays, we start writing them from around the summertime, July or August. And for the application itself, I think they will go maybe 1 month before or like 2 months before the application deadline. Right.
Okay, I think I've got one direct message as well. The question is, which is better for us to do when universities give us the option of answering recommendation form with questions or free writing letters of recommendation? When
can you repeat that once again?
I think which is better for us to do. I think for the teachers, I think it's from one of the teachers, which is better for them, the teachers, to do when universities give us the option of answering recommendation forms with questions or free writing letters of recommendation. I think maybe the first one is, have some format in it. The second one is like, free writing letter of recommendation.
Yeah, because I'm not sure about what you mean by the questions. Like either is it like from the university or the ones that I show, like some questions that you need to ask for the students. But then generally, I think for recommendation letters, universities don't put out like a specific format for teachers or counselors to follow. But then like if you can for like a rule of thumb for the format itself, you will start with 1 paragraph of the body. So that's for the opening, right? That's for the opening, and then continued by the content itself, right? So the content itself is where you start to tell your story, the story of the student, of course, that you vouch for, highlighting their motivations and stuff. And you close with a strong recommendation phrases, right? Such as like, I highly recommend, or I'm confident with my recommendation, or something like that, that is very firmly and strongly recommend the student. I think that's just the rule of thumb, that the opening, the body, and also the closing for the recommendation letter.
So I think different universities have different format, I think. So maybe some university, they have their own template, I guess. Yeah. So you just fill it out, fill the questions. But there are some university also that they don't really give some format, and yeah, if that's the case, you can write the letter of recommendation that we recommend earlier, yeah, in the session.
Yep.
Okay.
I think we have one question about visa. So does USA give visa extension for students after graduation? Thank you.
Visa extension. I think if it's like this, you should, go to the embassy and like ask for, some visa extension, right?
Yeah, so I'm not sure what you mean by visa extension. Is it's a student visa extension or like just a permit to stay in the US? Because like for some universities and for some majors, right, STEM related majors, they would have this certain period. I think it's around 2 years, where you can opt for additional visa, where you can stay to find for internships or jobs. Yeah, in the US. Yeah, so I think that really depends on the majors that you're applying to and also the universities that you go to.
Hi, hello. It's
Hello.
Sita here. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
please,
been
Sita.
listening. Yeah, I just want to add some things because I know that us as the mentors, we are not really sure about the visa extension and stuff because it has been some changes. But from what I know, like for example, even in Australia, they said that it's confirmed that they will give you a visa extension after your students graduating from university, right? But there are some like terms and condition as well. For example, you have to complete your bachelor degree, or there are at least 16 subjects, 2 years on board, and then also, or if you want to do 1.5 years only, it has you have to complete your master degree, for example, those kind of thing. It's kind of confusing, and they tend to change a lot. But then that's what we know about Australia, right? But we always have to double check with the immigration. And for US, from what I know, they in some areas they are differences as well. But then they usually give you a trial for at least 6 months. But when you are not getting any job, then they won't give you the second extension. That's what we always been told by the immigration. But there are some exceptions in certain areas as well, and also it's depend on back to like which university, because I heard as well in some universities you get some privilege to get the extension visa. We call it the graduate visa. Actually, it's not an extension. So if you want to get a graduate visa, that would allow you to try to work on board, yeah, in the country, then yeah, there are a lot of terms and conditions. So as Gabi said, that we have to double check with the regions, with the immigration as well. But for USA, it's gonna be harder than Australia, but usually they will give 6 months at least for you to try to get some jobs, and then after that you can reapply or like apply for another stay visa, like working visa and all the stuff. And Canada does have those kind of regulations too, but then especially because of the COVID-19, there are a lot more changes on that as well. So it's gonna be very hard. But I think Bu Anuka or maybe some teachers over here know me already. You can contact me for that. I can connect you with the immigration or like a visa agency, because we have a trusted sources too. So feel free to contact me, and then I will ask your questions so we can answer your students' questions with the updated version of the information. So yeah, that's it, KB Sharon. Hope that helps.
Yeah,
Okay,
hopefully that
thank you.
helps. Yeah. Thank you, Chitra, for the addition. Okay. Right. So I guess just to while we're waiting for more questions, if you have any, since I think there are some questions on recommendation letter as well. If you want to know like how's the format or like how's the example, maybe do we still have time for
Yeah,
like just a quick
Yep.
case study, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll just like share the screen. Yeah. So let me. Okay, so this is one example from a real recommendation letter we have from one of our students. And yeah, just for the information, like this is like the second paragraph. So this is included to the body part. Yeah, so yeah, I think I'll also invite all the audience over here who are especially teachers, yeah, or like counselors who wants to write down a recommendation letter. I would invite all of you to take some time, maybe like around 30 seconds to read this paragraph and then tell me if this is a good or a bad recommendation letter, at least from this paragraph only. Right. So, yeah.
So you can take your time to read it first. And after that, maybe you can tell us in the chat box, like whether it's a good letter of recommendation or actually it's a bad example. Okay.
Yep. Not so good example or like, oh, it's a good example. Right. Okay. So taking a look at my time.
Or maybe if you think that it's a bad example, you can maybe, state that why is it a bad example?
Is everyone done with this one?
Okay, so just answer it in the chat box, whether it's a good or maybe a bad example of a letter of recommendation.
Okay, so I think yeah, I invite just anyone to also, maybe you can also just simply unmute yourself and give a quick opinion on this paragraph. Is it a good example of recommendation letter, or it's not actually a good one?
Yeah.
Anyone
so I think we've got one answer so far. Yeah. So there's one person that think the letter does not highlight the student's personality nor the academic achievement, more of a personal experience of the teacher. Okay, thank you for your answer.
Okay, thank you.
Annika.
Thank you, Miss Annika. Yep. So okay, so maybe to put it simply, right, I think like the good or bad, it's pretty black and white. But then like I agree with your opinion. But then like I think this one, for example, this one is already included as an good example actually, because of the story itself, So it's indeed from the comment just now, it's more towards the teacher's personal experience, right? It doesn't highlight the student's personality or maybe like what she really achieved. But then from this paragraph, if you see, like you can first of all, just from the grades itself, the student here is actually not you cannot really say like the student is like the top notch of her class, especially in physics, right? Because this teacher happens to be a physics teacher. And yeah, but then we only from the grades itself, we can see the increase, right? From B2 or B plus to an A. And in the middle of that, how's actually the process, right? And from the examples, you can see that this student actually, as we can see on the fourth line, he came to my office after schools were over, brought a textbook, asked me for a thorough explanation, right? So these are what we call as the students' traits, using the real events or the real evidences, right? So this this might again, like what Miss Annika said, this might come across like, the teacher is just telling the story of his or her experience, but then at the same time it actually works as a more genuine explanation towards what really happens on the process of this students journey or progress in this particular subject. Yeah. And at the end, because of the grades is increasing, we can really see the example of how the students really grow and really improve. Yeah. So I think one of the reasons why this might come across as, like only the sharing of the teacher is because like this is just a part of the recommendation letter. I mean, this is like not finished. I just take like an excerpt for it. So yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why it might come across, as a not really clear example of it. Yeah, but then
So yeah, actually, especially if in the US essay, right? Maybe you could really emphasize on the growth and also the improvement, right? Especially if the question, is like, if you don't really know this student, does the student excel academically or doesn't have outstanding, character or leadership. Yeah, but you can observe their daily improvement, their daily growth, and it's actually very important as well. Yeah, especially to the US officer admission, like they really look at it, right?
Yep. So maybe another another example which is like much shorter. So I think this is quite pretty straightforward to everyone here to answer. And I will have the same question. Like, do you think this paragraph is a good example of a letter of recommendation, and why? Probably, like I can ask the reasons, like why do you think this is a good one, or do you think this is not a good one? Again, feel free to put your answer on the chat box, or unmute yourself.
Yep.
Any answers? I haven't checked.
Yeah. So actually, it's like a practice also, Sharia, for this teachers in here. Just a small practice, about the letter of recommendation.
Yeah, so because this is like just consists of 3 sentences, just to reread it to everyone here. Gina is an intelligent and hardworking student who has impressed her teachers with her curiosity and dedication. She's especially interested in literature and poetry and contributes her writing to the school literary magazine. Gina is interested in majoring in English next year and continuing to hone her craft. Yeah. So, I think I saw.
One.
Yeah, not good. It's too general, not detailed and specific. Okay, thank you, Miss Lina. Yep, I think just to go ahead. Yep, indeed, it's actually you really hit the spot. Like, I mean, like it's the use of generic adjective over here. Like intelligent, hardworking. What else? Other adjectives that is used too much. They don't really unless you pair it up with a real story, just like the previous one, like how the student go find the teacher after school and like ask the questions, the things that she doesn't understand. Unless you couple it with those kind of story, the words intelligent and hardworking is really free to interpretation, right? Everyone can have different opinion on how to really evaluate someone is hardworking or intelligent, right? And also from what we know throughout this paragraph, we only know that this Gina, this student, Gina, she's interested in English, right? Because like from her activities, she likes literature, poetry, and she joined the school magazine. But then like how actually like how Gina actually come across literature, and how did she feel about literature why did she actually end up joining the school magazine? Those are the things that we cannot see, in this paragraph. And so therefore, like we said, that listing out the activities without showing students' characteristics is not a good thing to do. They generally have, the admission officers can generally look at this on the CV, or if you're talking about US application, common app section, they will have the 10 activities section as well, where they can see all the activities. Right. So yeah, I think these are some quick examples for the letter of recommendation.
Yeah. So yeah, we hopefully that it could maybe give you a little of the picture, about a bad or a good letter of recommendation.
Right. Yeah. And Miss Aneka commented, I think it's a great introduction in the letter. The next few paragraphs should expand more of those traits. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you do want to expand this further with more stories, or more examples, like basically how we can say like this student is intelligent, hardworking. What else? Like and any other adjectives, I think that can turn out to be a good recommendation letter. And also for the activities, I think it would be even better to really, before we start to list out like what she liked, poetry, literature, and then what else, her involvement in the school magazine, you can definitely talk more about like why she actually really joined these activities.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I think so. I think if there's no other question, I'll just kindly remind everyone to fill in the feedback form before we close. I think I'll just ask Teresha if you could copy the link once again, just in case anyone haven't filled in the feedback. And yeah, I think if there's no more questions, I think that's all from us from today.
Yep. Yeah, thank you. So thank you so much for everyone that have joined this event. Hopefully, this session would give you some additional insights, about the university admission process, and also about the letter of recommendation. So yeah, thank you everyone for coming in. See you on the next session and also the next event.
Yep. Thank you very much, everyone. See you tomorrow, right? In the parent mentor talk.
Yep.
Right. Thank you, everyone. Hope this session is useful.
Thank you for coming. Yep.
Sorry, I'm muted. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. It's still live, yeah. It's live, yeah.